All right, it's Tuesday, August 26th, about 6 o'clock, and I'll call the meeting to order for Finance and Personnel Committee. Lori, may we have roll call, please?
Crystal,
Here.
John,
Here.
Emma, Todd Kirking,
Here.
Todd Spath.
Here.
Okay, first period for public comment. If you haven't, I'd like to speak to the committee, please do so at this time, whether online or in person. Probably not. Nobody came forward, so we'll do approval of the committee minutes from 8/12 of 25.
Mrs. Todd will approve the committee minutes of 8/12/25.
Okay,
John, I'll second.
all right, motion and second for approval of the minutes. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Minutes are approved. Item number 4, payment of the bills. Lori.
Okay, in the original bills, there's not a lot to point out unless you guys have some questions on that.
Oh,
I was looking through there.
anybody have questions for Lori? No? Okay, you're good.
Okay, in the additional bills, I wanted to point out that on page 1, we had collected, we had made that big payment to the Hidden Valleys Municipal Court. And so now I'm trying to keep up on the month that comes in for trip payments. So on July 21st, they had one for $288.80 that'll be going out to the court. We also are paying out $30,685.02 for the second quarter in room tax. So we're doing really well because that's 70% of the total. So that's continuing to increase. On page 3, I wanted to explain the Morton salt issue. Back in 2023, we had sent a check for the bulk salt out to Morton Salt, and somehow it got intercepted by one of their employees and the name got changed on the check. So it got fraudulent. It actually went through our bank, everything, and it cashed it. Finally, we're able to get all of the money back through the fraud case, through the police department and with the working of the bank, we actually were able to recoup the entire amount. So now Morton was waiting on all of this too. So now we're just turning around and paying it what they should have got in 2023.
Okay.
So that's what that one is. As part of the Main Street project, what happened there on page 4, the 2,226, we had Greg was the one that ordered the catch basins for us. So that's why we're paying back the utility, because Cheryl thought it was something on the utility side since Greg was the one that did it. And then since it's the Main Street project, we're just reimbursing the utility for that since it is on the city side. So those are the main things I wanted to point out, unless anybody else has questions.
I just noted that there was a CDR reimbursement to an employee for getting that training. Do you know who that was by chance? CDL, yeah, sorry.
It was Slade.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
And
Anybody
he
else?
just got his license today. So, yes.
Anybody else have questions? No? All righty, then we'd be looking for a motion.
Mrs. Todd, I make a motion to approve the bills. John, I'll second.
Okay, motion and a second to pay the bills. May we have roll call, please, Lori?
John,
Aye.
Todd Kirking,
Aye.
Todd Spath,
Aye.
and Crystal.
Aye. Okay, motion passes. That'll be forwarded on to the council tonight. Item number 5 is administrative updates. I don't know if that's Lori or Nate.
Well, last week I was at my clerk's conference for 3 days, which was very educational. They did a lot of motivational stuff this time, but we did have some really good classes on open meetings, open records, some human resource stuff. A lot of information. We didn't have a lot on elections because they're actually like trying to do a separate elections training and just seeing if they want to do a conference strictly on that. But it was interesting to get some perspective from some other clerks, because I sat with actually one that had been there for 40 years. And then we had one that was sitting right next to her that had been there for 48 hours. So seeing the 48-hour person with like deer in the headlights and all excited about it, and the one that had been there for 40 years was like, come here, I'll put you under my wing, you know, kind of a thing. So it was really interesting to be at a table with that diverse of a difference. So otherwise, I've been dealing with some HR things with onboarding of new employees. We had a new employee in the library and one in the police department, so we had that this week. Working on some of the budget prep stuff. We got our August tax settlement in this week, so we're having another $1 million going into the bank, so that's a good thing. Just trying to catch up on my minutes, and I was working with the broker on some of that stuff that'll be happening September 1st, so that's kind of been my world.
Thank you. Nate?
Thanks, Lori. For me, a little bit of playing catch up. I was out on vacation the first full week of August, came back and went right into budget. So we are wrist deep in budget right now. The budget team has met twice. We have another meeting on Thursday, and the department heads have been doing a great job of getting their budgets submitted and giving us a lot of food for thought. On top of that, we had police union bargaining happening currently. Todd Spaeth and the mayor and AJ and I, as well as Rick, spent 6.5 hours. You got 7? 6.5 to 7 hours. Now, yeah, we're splitting hairs at that point. In bargaining last Thursday, and that was on top of a budget team meeting in the morning. So it was last Thursday was a long, fun day. But we're hoping to have a proposal on that for the council to review next council meeting. Judge. Other than that, economic development is really heavy right now. The Hanson Farm is a thing that's a big project, and we'll talk about that tonight, as well as a lot of activity on Railroad Avenue. A lot of activity. VDA, the guys on VDA, guys and gal on VDA are really meeting quite often and have a full agenda every time we meet. I don't often, and that's something to think about maybe talking about VDA a little bit more. Maybe I'll have Jacob come in and talk about who's on the committee and what they're doing and how they operate. But they've been meeting frequently, and we always are like pressed for time, which means there's a lot of good stuff to discuss and talk about. And you'll see some of those items on today. Other than that, a little bit of lack of room for anything else. This is budget season, and with police bargaining, it sort of magnifies budget, but I am happy to answer any question you folks may have about what's going on in my world.
Questions, anybody? Nope, sounds like you got it.
Okay.
All righty. Item number 6 is a second period for public comment. If there's anybody who'd like to speak to the committee, please do so at this time. Nope. Alrighty, then we would be looking for a motion to adjourn.
Scott, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Todd.
Todd, I'll second it.
Okay. Motion and a second for adjournment. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Pose same sign. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.